frustrating and disappointing?
Yeah, disappointing. I suppose we knew we were up against it. Obviously with the internationals they had and the fact they brought back their centre back who hadn't played this year. I think they made a few changes and defensively they were solid. We tried to take the game to them at home and we felt the first half an hour we did okay. But at half time we just thought that maybe we might get a couple of chances, but it was a difficult game because they're so good in possession and I suppose we did give away a sloppy goal and ultimately we'd have liked to have had Benno's experience there in a game like this, but at the same time look at, I said before, after getting over the first round that's what we had to do and everything else was a bonus, but you could see they were a quality team and we're certainly disappointed because we possibly, Shawnee was probably too honest. He's in the box, he was taken, and we had a bit of helter-skelter in the last couple of minutes when no one could connect with the ball properly. Maybe we might have put a draw out of it, which he might have deserved, I think. But you can see they're a quality side, and I suppose if someone said at the start of the season that their first defeat will be on the 13th of July, you might say that's fair enough.
And the chance to get back on the horse really quickly with Bray on Sunday.
Well, that's our. The competition that we can win, and obviously that's what our total focus will be on now for the next couple of days.
Will you make many changes for that game ahead of next Thursday?
I'll assess things tomorrow and see how lads are, whatever. We'll certainly make a few because obviously, with the energy that the lads used last Thursday, Sunday's game and again tonight, they work so hard and it is difficult because they're so good at keeping the ball and you're chasing for quite a bit. But in lots of parts of the match we did quite well. Probably could have played it a bit more. I felt took a few options wrong, but at the same time, overall, the lads. I suppose the frustrating thing now for ourselves and for Irish teams is that you're coming off the pitch being defeated, you're gutted. Whereas years ago you were trying to keep scores down. So from that point of view, we're very disappointed. But we'll assess things again in the morning.
What's the situation exactly with Alan Bennett?
No, he's back involved, and it was just that he hadn't played in 3 weeks, and he just needs probably a few more days training.
Does the result tonight kind of accelerate your need to have him back in the team?
No, because the lads have done great, and our results all along have been fantastic. In the 2 games in Europe before this, we had done it. But when you come to higher quality teams, then you have a bit more experience, particularly in the centre back position, because their centre forward was really good. His movement was really good, and he was, pulling Ryan out around the place, and but the Ryan's only 20. But when you look at the team, they've done phenomenal, and I'm proud of them. But we're just disappointed we gave away a soft goal. The way the game was going, I was saying, God, will it be 0-0? If it was, it wouldn't be the worst thing. But I still felt we'd get a chance or two. But obviously, when you concede, it's a sucker. But from our point of view, we just move on.
From what you saw from them tonight, is the second leg, is it a game you feel you can win out there?
Well, I think, to be honest with you, it'll be different. Like we're talking about one of the conditions, oven hot, 35 degrees, humidity, and certainly you'll have to have a different game plan because obviously the way they keep the ball, they're used to that. We're not. So we'll have a different game plan. We'll have a cut. There's no doubt we will. But at the same time, being realistic is that we felt that we need to get out of here tonight. We're result going there.
On a positive note, John, I suppose you've scored in Europe away from home in every game, bar gang. So obviously the tie's not gone yet.
Oh no!
What about the approach?
No, absolutely. We have pace and energy, and at the same time, what we need to do is be compact over there, and certainly on the counter, we will be dangerous. There's no doubt with the type of players we have, but it is going to be difficult. There's no point. And as I said, we're playing teams that are, 5 internationals that are higher standard than you. You have to play to your best, and we didn't play as well as we could have tonight, and we gave away a soft goal. So you need everything going well for you. So obviously next week, of course, we'll have a go off it, and we'll go with a game plan. But it is going to be difficult, and there's no point in saying otherwise. So but that's just the way it is, and that's why I keep saying that. I felt that tonight at times, particularly in the second half, maybe the third game of the week, told on some of the lads, particularly forward players, because they hadn't got the extra zip. That's going to happen in when you're playing you know, in Europe, because it's a higher intensity than you're used to week in, week out, and that's just the way it is.
Where did I rate that team, do you think, John, in comparison to the teams you played away last year, maybe?
Well, I certainly think they're. I think that you know, when you look at Genk and what Genk had, I think that their retention of the ball and the movement of the centre forward and Tchaikovsky and, you know, the two centre backs, I think, you know, that they're probably very similar. You know, maybe be better, but certainly I think they're very similar.
John, is there any fear about kind of having to lift lads now, because it's been so long since you've had a defeat? You know, will it be easy to kind of refocus and not fear another defeat on Sunday now?
Well, I suppose that's our job. You'd be disappointed because these guys have been phenomenal. You know, the league is a trophy that we could win, and you know, there's no feeling sorry for anyone. So I wouldn't think that would be an issue. I think it's a different game Sunday, and I think, you know, we'll get back in tomorrow. You know, we'll be after the day. Let's be realistic. I think at the end of the day, you know, players know their limits and they know how good they are. But at the same time, when you come against teams of this quality, you know, you need everything to go for you, and they need to have an off night. And I suppose the frustrating thing out tonight was that, you know, it's part of our game that the foul, the diving and stuff has become the norm, and it's frustrating. That is, you know, the referee could have stamped out early on, and he just didn't. He left it go, and so frustrating because the Fizzy didn't come on the pitch once. I think they went down 18 times. You know, so when you look at it that way, that is frustrating because it you know, it's getting to the stage where, you know, I asked the referees inspector afterwards, and he said, well, they were intelligent. They played the game, and you're saying that's not playing the game. You know, that's wrong. You know, but unfortunately, like, you know, Shawnee stays on his feet when he should have gone down, and but at the same time, that's probably the disappointing thing on it. But overall, you know, their ball retention, the way they keep the ball and the way they move it, they're seriously good side. You know.
And with the goal lead, they'll probably be kind of taking their time next week as well. Is there anything you can do to kind of to counteract it in advance?
I know, I don't think they will. I think it's just a different game. They're at home. I think they'll be different at home, and they're used to the conditions. And I think for us, it'll be more of next week of a lot more than tonight. Whereas we'll have to be more compact, and certainly we won't have the ball as much. And but still, at the same time, if we defend well, you know, on the counter attack, we could cause a few problems. But it is difficult. There's no doubt about that. Look at, I keep saying to yourself, lads, at the end of the day, when you're playing, look at the 5 internationals. You know what I mean? They've a lot of fellas that played international, but before that, you have to sometimes admit that, you know, they're a good side, and, you know, our fellas. Well, we think we could have played more. We could have played better tonight, and certainly maybe got scored a goal. At the end of the day, sometimes you have to put your hand up and say that you know, they're a good side. That's just the way it is.
With Maguire's penalty incident, say, had that been one of their players, they would have gone down and have to them.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Should have gone down without being never near the box, you know. So and that was what's frustrating. But it's just, look at it. It's part of, it's rampant in European football, and unfortunately it's creeping into our game here, and you don't like to see that, because you like to still see fellas making honest tackles and players standing up and being counted. But you know, when you see fellas 6'4" and they're rolling all over the ground and no one's gone near them, that is frustrating. But you know, at the end of the day, we'll move on. As I said, you know, Europe has been very good for us for the last couple of years. It's a great learning experience. But at the same time, you know, when you come against a team that are better than you, you have to take it on the chin.
John, just on Sunday's game, how do you kind of weigh up where Bray Wanderers might be at mentally with everything that's gone on at the club? Is that a factor for you in terms of how you prepare for that?
Not at all. We have to be on our top game because they have nothing to lose. You know, they probably can't wait to get back playing, which I would imagine, because I'd say they're so sick of what's gone on. I'd say they just want to get back and play, and you know, they still have a super side, and they still have all the top players. You know, you look at them, Green and McCabe and all these guys. So we know that, you know, they're probably so sick of the fact that they haven't played a match for a couple of weeks, and all this has gone on, and the fact that they seem to be okay now. You know, and the fact they can knock us off our part, being the fact that we're unbeaten. I expect it will be an incredibly tough game. So we just have to make sure that we're at a top level, otherwise we drop points.
Thanks,
Thanks,